Welcome to Empower You Crown Up podcast. Today we have a very special guest, and on Empower You is where we believe in empowering minds to live empowered lives. So, without further ado, we are so excited to have Miss Christi with us. Hi, Christi. How are you?
I am well. How are you?
I am doing well. I'm excited to have you as a guest today on our podcast. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how do you empower the world daily?
Yes, well, definitely thank you for having me. Thank you, just for having me on here so that I can just give a little bit, like you said, about myself, about our company, and what we do in the world, I guess, every day. So I am Christi Venable. I am the CEO and founder of Smile Therapy Services. And so we are a mental health and wellness agency. And we really focus in on preventative mental health and wellness support. And so that is really helping corporations, organizations to respond to mental health differently. We also do direct services, but really focus on providing employee wellness, employee engagement. How do we help organizations create these psychological safe spaces, right? And so in my day to day, and by trade, I'm actually a therapist. So I'm a licensed professional counselor. Personally, I started my journey in this mental health field in the school system, and so working with kids K through 8, kindergarten or preschool through 8th grade, and really focus in on their social emotional well being. And I left the school system, went into community mental health, still working with youth. Um, and that's when I decided to start my company. I really wanted to create an organization who would provide high quality mental health services to everyone, to all those who needed it, whether they could really afford it or not. And so we still do a lot of our direct services in the DC area. So I'm born and bred DC. And and I'm actually from Ward 8. So that was considered highest crime, highest poverty. So
Mm.
I really wanted to make sure that we provided high quality services, for kids like me, for adults like me, where I came from. And so that's what we have been focusing on. And so really how we empower is we really one, we're providing mental health therapy every day. And so we're holding spaces for individuals, we're dealing with heavy times, they're challenging times, really helping them work through those spaces. So that's so, for us, that's so essential, right? And
Mm.
sometimes it really is the matter of life and death. And so we are also dealing with people who may be suicidal, have suicidal thoughts. Um, and we actually help them through that. And so everything really that we do is centered around helping individuals just become a better version of themselves and helping them while they are struggling through their mental health issues. And so, our direct services is one way that we empower, but then do corporations.
Mm.
A lot of people are not focused in on mental health in the workplace. And we are on a mission to change that because we know that statistics shows that your workplace really could deteriorate your mental health.
Mm.
So we are working to change the mindset around mental health, how we look at it, how we respond to it, and for us not to be reactive to mental health, but really be preventative. How
Mm.
can we provide people strategies and
And
coping
being
skills
proactive. Mhm.
exactly beforehand, before they get to the burnout, before they're at their wits' end? How can we put things in place, before we get to that point, and not just react to when now I am, at this place where I can't get up and I'm so depressed that I can no longer perform. And so that's how we are really empowering, not just individuals, but also workplaces.
I love that so much. And it's funny you said that starting out in the schools because now that I'm in the mental health, I was a school counselor as well. getting into the mental health field and working in education, you see it from a different perspective. And for me, it made me really take a step back and like, okay, we can help them here at this stage. Maybe, just maybe things will be better. And just helping them to learn the importance of self-love and loving themselves and just being in tune. Because I think a lot of it comes from, generations, how you've been raised, and just
Yep.
for African American women, especially. Not saying that other ethnicities don't encounter this, but I've heard it a lot more with African American ethnicities that we just overwork ourselves. We're trying to do for everyone but ourselves. And you do reach a place of burnout,
Yeah.
high stress at work, high stress at home. And so many women are dying from heart attacks and just
Yep.
heart disease. It's just so much. The list goes on and on. So I love what you do.
Yeah, and unfortunately, heart disease is the number one killer for women, especially Black women. Um, and then what people may not know is death by suicide is number two for Black women entrepreneurs.
Yeah. And I can see that because think about it. You're trying to, you're taking the leap of faith. You're trying to make things work. But we also got to remember in the midst of failure, there's also lessons there. And if you're not changing your circle to be around different mindsets, that's gonna pull you down. Because they're like, girl, what are you doing that for? Why don't why can't you just be content with working your job? But when there's something deeper inside of you that is just burning, and you're like, I know I'm here for more. God has put me here for more than just a
Yeah,
working job. You were like, okay, I'm going to do everything that I can. And it gets disheartening at times.
yeah.
You see that your circle that's around you is not uplifting you and pushing you to be better, or getting you the resources or helping you. And that's
Yep. Or
funny. I
even
was
being
listening.
a support, even being a support for you.
Yes, and that's funny you said that 'cause I was listening to something today, and that's what Pastor Mike, he was talking about that. He was like, when you're in your strong season, you need people who are going to lift you, okay? Not people that's just looking, because we got enough lookers.
Okay.
And that's what helps you to get to the next level. And sometimes that means we got to cut people off. And as hard as that is, it is just, you got to do what's best for you and keep that end result in mind. So I love it. So that brings me to my next question. So when you were younger in your childhood, did you ever imagine being the woman that you are today? Like doing all of this?
Um, so I knew I was gonna be great, right? And not to sound, any type of way, but I did. I was solely focused as a kid on having success.
Yeah.
I was really into school. I knew that my way out of my circumstance was going to be through education. And I was laser focused on my education, on being involved in school. Um, it was really, it was, I just knew it was going to happen. I didn't know what I was going to do. I also knew that I wanted to have my own business as when I was young. I just didn't know what type of business I was going to have. Um, and so I always kind of had thoughts that, I was going to be successful and I was passionate about it. Like, I'm not going to be like, like the family members that were around. I was just really focused on, I want to be different. I want to do something different. I don't want to fall into the stereotype. Um, that was major for me, right? Because I grew up in DC, 80s and 90s, the stereotypes that were on us were, either we were going to have a baby by 16 or, um, not finish school, not go to college. And so I didn't want that to be my story.
Mm.
And I really worked hard to stay on course. Um, yeah, I was a kid, so of course I made stupid, decisions at times, but I really worked hard not to make a lot of stupid decisions, right? I was, really praying to make wise decisions.
Mm.
Um, if you ask some of my friends who are, I have two best friends who are still my friends, and we've been friends since fourth grade, they always said I was like the mother group. So I was the one, no, we don't need to do this, or no, we need to be studying, or so I was that person. I was that friend, right? Making sure we were on task. And so my younger self knew I was going to be something.
Mm.
I had no idea that it would be this, right? That I would get to this point. I don't even think I could fathom that because I've never seen that. I didn't really have entrepreneurs in my family. Everyone worked. They worked really hard, but none of them had the level of success that I've been fortunate to hit. And so I didn't see that for myself. I just knew I was going to be successful. I didn't really even know what successful meant. I just know it meant different from what I was seeing.
And, I think that's a really great point, especially for our listeners to know that even if you've never seen it done, that doesn't mean that you can't have that. And I
Yeah.
think that's important because when we talk to students, and I know you've encountered this as well, sometimes they don't know or they've never been outside of their city or
Yeah.
they just don't know that there's a world that's just so much bigger and there's so much that you can accomplish. It doesn't matter if no one in your family's ever gone to college or everyone had a business. You can be the first. Like, it starts with you. You
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's an exact point. But, we do have to do a better job with educating our kids on what they can be. Whether
right.
like you said, whether they see it or not, these are all the opportunities, right? I don't feel like I was really taught what was really out there as it even relates to fields, right? Different fields that you can go into, different jobs you can have. There's so many different career fields.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like we have to do a better job with our students, with really empowering them to know that it's so many things out here. Really look at what your passions are and then align them right with some career choices. But also letting them know, that ownership is a thing. You can be a owner of something. You can own your own business without having, like you said, that family background. And so, because now I am in this space, I have a lot of nieces and nephews. So I'm always in their ear about looking at something different, not just, oh, I'm going to work this job, but how can I now learn this skill and create my own company with this skill set?
I love that. And it's about learning and expanding your knowledge and your mindset. So tell us, what does that look like if someone wants to work with you, or how can people stay in touch with you? What does that look like?
Yeah, so if they want to, they can definitely go to our website, smiletherapyservices.com. Follow me on LinkedIn. So I'm really heavy on LinkedIn. They can reach out to me there. They can also just follow us on Instagram. So Smile Therapy LLC. We put out a lot of psychoeducation really around mental health and different tidbits, but also kind of what we're doing, our different events and different things that are coming up that they can stay connected with as well. So I also do LinkedIn Lives and newsletters. If they go to our website, they can subscribe to our newsletter, and we send out things monthly as well. In addition to, just our services, we send out newsletters around the different awarenesses, different struggles and challenges that people may be dealing with, especially in the workplace, like giving them tips, strategies, coping strategies on how to manage, all the different challenges that they may be feeling. So they can definitely join our newsletter by going to our website.
I love it so, so much for people to be able to stay in contact and things of that nature. Definitely since we have some of the same background and things, I think we should definitely partner up. So I
Yeah.
would definitely be looking to keep in touch with you and also to have you on some future episodes. But one last question. What is a word of advice or some words of advice that you would give to someone who is just really looking to be empowered? They're at the crossroads. They don't know what to do, which way to go. What are some words of empowerment you would leave for them?
For me, I would say keep your faith.
Mm,
Faith is so important when you are going through something rough. And I feel like right now I am in a season of just
You're
roughness,
not
I think.
alone. You're not alone.
There's so many things going on, and it can be very difficult
Mhm.
um to just keep going. But I would say keep your faith. If you know that God put something on your life, you have a calling on your life, know that it will come to pass.
Mhm.
It's not going to be easy. Believe me, it has not been easy to get to where I am. And it's not easy to stay where I am and to try to get to the next phase of where I'm trying to go. However, one, I know that it's a reason for me doing this. We're helping people every day. And so I have to, one, keep that in mind as well, but also just keep the faith that where you are trying to go and get to, you will eventually get there. And it might not look like what you think it's going to look like. um, but know that everything that happens to you is
Happen.
not by chance.
That's right. And that's
It's
so
for a
easily
purpose.
said. As you were talking, you made me think about David when he was running from Saul. And now being older, it hits differently when you read the scripture because it's like, man, God, I know I've been called, but here I am running from him and being really close to his son
Yeah.
and Samuel to confide in, but I can't with Saul. So it was just like looking at that, I'm like, wow, how many times do we feel like, Lord, I know you called me to do this, but it feels
Mm,
like everything's falling apart.
yes.
But in reality, that's just preparing us and making us stronger for when we get to the next level. So
Yeah, and crazy enough, I just literally, I think just today, just a while ago, um, TD Jakes, it was a video and it was of TD Jakes saying the greater kind of your like your trials and tribulations,
mhm.
the greater your success or your call or that next step will
Yes.
be. So essentially, it's like you are dealing with all of this because God is setting you up for something so great that He has to kind of disturb your life to prepare you for that next level.
That's right.
Um, and so that's what that reminds me of. Just know that just also preaching to my own self. Know that when you are dealing with thing after thing after thing,
Mhm.
it's literally going to be setting you up. It
Yes.
is there, even though it is difficult, it is a setup for that next phase. And he's just trying to prepare us for that.
That's right. And the key is that we grow and learn from it and just really solidify our foundation and firmness in Christ because, oh, honey, without him, I don't know.
Couldn't do it.
Yes, and I'm glad you said that too, because I think a lot of times when you are in mental health and you are, helping people, people feel like you have to have it together. And the
Yeah,
reality of it is no, I don't have it all together. And I'm
that's right.
okay with saying that. And that's what makes me qualified is knowing that, through my experiences, through your experiences, we can help so many people and we're still learning. And so we're still, open to get knowledge from other people and to help
Yeah.
us, to get to the next level. And I think that's important that people remember that you don't know everything and it's okay to keep
Nope.
learning and it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to share what you're dealing with because, that helps get your clients and also helps people to know, oh, wow, like she's dealing with that. We have no idea, but I'm showing
Right.
every day.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah, I love that. You are absolutely correct. We are human at the end of the
Right.
day. And we will not have everything together, and we are not perfect people. So,
Yeah, that's true. And I think that's what has helped us so much. And you made me think about with COVID, like with everybody having to work home from home, and then you're doing videos and your kids come in, and it's like it's okay. You know,
yeah,
that's part of mom life. Like your
right.
kids come in the video, it's okay. Just keep going, let them join and say hi, and keep
Right.
going. But it would be a time where you'd be like, "Oh, this is personal or this is professional. Like, don't come in here."
Yep. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I think we all just really tapped into our human side of us
Yes.
to know that it's okay.
Okay.
Everything is not going to look like you want it to look. Things are not going to always work out. Things are going to happen, but it's okay.
That's right.
It's okay. Life goes on.
And that ties back into what you're doing, bringing knowledge to the workforce to know that you can speak up, but do you have a safe space or a place or something before it gets there? Because especially in education, it's not really that safe space. As a teacher, you
Yeah.
have so much on your plate,
Yeah.
dealing with all these kids, and then you have your own family, and
Hmm.
and where can you speak out without scrutiny, And so I love what you're doing. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. In schools, definitely my first passion. I was in schools. Schools are definitely a different animal than any job you'll ever work. But I love schools, and you're absolutely correct. We really are working hard, even for school districts, to do something different for the staff, because we know how hard they work, and we also know how important they are. And so, we try to have the schools that you are doing this mental health piece for the students, but what about for the teachers and the
Hello.
staff?
Yes.
Let's do some employee wellness for them. Let's give them safe spaces where they can really just let out what they are managing, what they are dealing with, what they are struggling with. And like you said, not feel like there's going to be any repercussions
Right.
because they are speaking out about what just their challenges. It's the
Yes.
honest truth. So, but it's a work in progress because the schools are not used to really putting teachers first, as they say, right? They're really focused on
Mhm.
the students, but if you don't have teachers, then your students are going to be out of luck.
Hello. Yes, yes. So tell us again, how can our listeners connect with you and follow you and just stay tuned so they'll know what you got going on?
Yes, well, follow me on LinkedIn under my name, Christi Venable. You can also follow Smile Therapy Services on LinkedIn and Smile on Instagram at Smile Therapy LLC. If you want to check out just more of what we do, you can go to our website, smiletherapyservices.com.
Love it, love it. Well, thank you again for being an amazing guest on Empower You _crown up. And we would love to have you again in the future as well.
Yes, thank you so much. So grateful to be here, and hopefully someone got something out of this conversation.
Bye.